Welcome to the first episode of YouTube Retrospective, a look back at the users of the past and how they set the standard for entertainment, gaming, and history, whether we talk about the users that are popular, infamous, or underrated. I will do my best to talk about users in the most objective way possible. I hope you folks that are interested in YouTube history are enlightened of the events that happened. Time to cue the official intro for this episode. Guptill89, aka Dylan Guptill of DG Entertainment, someone who was on YouTube from the very beginning. A person that, for lack of a better term, tried to be a genuine entertainer at a time where edgy content became normal on YouTube. Whether it was angry reviews, angry rants, edgy comedy, or memes. At a time when people imitated a style to get attention, Guptill would often gain heat for his rants, his subjective taste in video game characters, and logos. How did Guptill become famous? How did he get over the nuclear heat he suffered through the years? Is he a better man today compared to over a decade ago? To find out, let's go back to the beginning. Guptill89 joined YouTube on July 25th, 2006, back when YouTube was independently owned by Jawed Kareem, Steve Chen, and Chad Hurley, someone who was blown away by video game reviews, music videos, and overall entertainment. From 2005 to 2012, this was considered the golden era of YouTube. His earliest videos, to my knowledge, had old footage of video games and a surprisingly entertaining rendition of the London Bridge. If you don't believe me regarding that song, let's actually cue this. Hard to believe this was made in August of 2007, 13 years ago. As someone who plays the piano on occasions, I have to say that this is very impressive. I'll post some of my own piano songs at some point down the road. Had this video been featured back in 2007, this could have inspired Guptill to be a musician with tons of adoration from the fans. You never know. After that video, Guptill89 did his first official video game review on Myst on August 17th, 2007. Now, I never played Myst since it was a PC game from the 1990s, but judging by the gameplay that Guptill did show, it was a role-playing game with variable interactions. This would become a very popular review for Guptill89 at the time. Another popular review from Guptill89 was on Doom, the Nightmare Mode, on August 28, 2007. This review pointed out the difficulties of the Nightmare Mode, the tricks to survive, and helpful tips to beat the levels. Once again, the success of Guptill89 in 2007 would lead to him getting a following at the time. 100 subscribers in 2007 was actually something to be proud of back then. It meant that you had the potential to be a success. If Guptill was at 5,000 subscribers in 2007, he would have been the talk of the site like the Irate Gamer, Armake21, Spoony1, and many other game reviewers. Then came Guptill89's first controversy, his rant on haters of the 4Kids voice actors. Since I cannot find the video in the archives nor on Guptill's channel, I would assume that that rant is long gone, a distant memory to many people on YouTube. In 2007, the Sonic fanbase was at a war with one another. You had the classic Sonic fans, the Sonic fans that abhorred Sonic's eye color, the way Sonic looked, and the gameplay of Sonic the Hedgehog. Then you had the Sonic fans that hated 4Kids voice actors. Jason Griffith was the center of controversy when many people, including Spax3, ranted mercilessly on Jason Griffith. Because the rant is gone, my conjecture is that Guptill was saying that the hate for the 4Kids voice actors was petty. I would believe he said that voice actors are not that bad and that people should not make a big deal about it. I think because of the backlash and apparent death threats from that rant, Guptill took the video down. That's right. If you tried to defend 4Kids voice actors in 2007, you would run the risk of getting backlash and death threats. That's how bad the Sonic the Hedgehog fanbase was back in the day. And this went on for a couple of years. This was not the only video that Guptill would take down because, as we find out, Guptill would become the center of controversy himself years later. In 2008, Guptill would devote time to video game walkthroughs. This would all change on January 7th, 2009. On January 7th, 2009, Guptill created a controversial series called Rant-A-Wreck. This series would get Guptill tremendous flack from both the commentary community and ranting community. First episode was Guptill ranting about swear words in video game reviews and how it affected the children. Well, children under the age of 13 are not allowed on YouTube anyway, but somehow they start accounts behind their parents' back and lie about their ages. Not to mention when kids in the day joined YouTube, there was no censorship, so video game reviewers and other content creators were allowed to freely swear on the site. That meant if a kid watched a video, they watched at their own risk. Nonetheless, Guptill offered solutions that were not feasible at the time despite his admiration for the angry video game nerd, irate gamer, and nostalgia critic, even though Doug Walker is a movie reviewer. Incidentally, this got the attention of many people including the pioneers of commentaries themselves, Retrospective. But this was far from over as more controversial videos would come about. Guptill would also get trolled for dancing in a Knuckles costume, which would totally be considered highly entertaining today. His short Rant-A-Wreck episode of misspelling words would get flack mainly because he did not understand trolling and how people misspell words on purpose to anger people. That was obvious trolling back in the day, but the worst of it being in February of 2010 with the infamous video, The Top 10 Hottest Female Sonic Characters. While the video was supposed to be entertaining, Guptill got flack for the following. The title of the series because it made him look like a furry. Then a lot of Sonic characters were underaged. Examples, Amy Rose and Cosmo the Plant Girl. That spawned over 9,000 pedophilia jokes, which made Guptill look like a sex offender that women petitioned the courts to have him registered as. Finally, no human characters on the list, something that a popular commentator like MSkull01 complained about. Guptill would take down the video, but then he would revise the video with the new title, Top 10 Prettiest Female Sonic Characters. The video was not all that different because Amy Rose was still on that list despite the character being 12 years old. Once again, that made Guptill look like a sex offender. Now had Guptill made a video called The Top 10 Coolest Sonic Characters and judged the characters on their attributes and their mannerisms, he would have had an enormous following. Guptill would have garnered the attention of people that would have wanted to network with him, but instead he focused on female Sonic characters, cementing his legacy that he can never get rid of even to this day. Next, we stop at Guptill89's rant on logos. I don't personally care about logos, I care more about the product in question. If you folks want to know about logos and its impact on companies, I suggest you watch a series by Youngblood Fantasy 91 called The Logo Corner. Nonetheless, in 2011, Guptill complained about the evolution of certain logos, whether it was Nike, Dunkin' Donuts, Viacom, etc. I cannot find a mirrored video of the logo rant, but there are numerous commentaries that feature the video. Finally, we stop at the infamous rant on technology. While I do agree that arcades and paper letters were good for the time, you also have to appreciate that email and social media has made it much easier to connect with people since the 2000s. Who remembers MySpace back in 2006? I sure do. I thought it was mind-blowing for the time since the regular email was phasing out for personal communications. Today, arcade games from the past are easily accessible courtesy of modern gaming consoles, PC games on Steam, and even free sites like Arcade Thunder can allow you to play the games like Galaga, Pac-Man, Rally X, and even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, I will link Arcade Thunder in the description for those that want to relive the good old days without spending a dime. Anyway, Guptill's complaint was about online retail services shutting down physical movie rental stores, consoles with online features shutting down arcades, digital books phasing out physical books, etc. Now yes, I can agree that physical books are good regardless of the times. In fact, I have a book published for any gardener that wants to buy a book on shoestring budget gardening. Link will be in the description. I also agree that the internet can black out at random if you are playing an online game. But what I disagree with is having to get out to the arcades to feed the machine quarters or even dollars. Why not just play an old game without internet required or play a board game like Monopoly, Chutes and Ladders, or my favorite board game, Checkers? There you go, problem solved. Now Netflix started off as an online rental service, but now it is the premier streaming service. If you want to know my opinion on Netflix, watch my second episode of True Nationalist Radio here on YouTube. As for streaming services in general, I will get to that at some point. The controversies involving Guptill89 cemented his legacy, ruining any chance to gain a massive following or the ability to network and create a celebrity status. Did the controversies involving female Sonic characters, swearing in video game reviews, logo evolution, and technological advances stop Guptill from producing content? No, and this is where the final segment comes into play. Guptill eventually shifted his content from ranting to parodies and back to reviews. I have to say that these videos have been his best work since 2007. Whether it was his review on the 2016 edition of Doom or fan dubs, it's as though Guptill has found peace and is enjoying the content he uploads again. While content is kind of rare from Guptill's channel in modern times due to real-life responsibilities and the overall scene of the internet today, I have to give Guptill props for doing his best after weathering a massive storm of controversy. Do I think Guptill is a terrible person for the videos he made in the past? Of course not. He made mistakes. He regretted many of the videos that he made, took time to focus on real life, and worked harder to improve his overall entertainment quality. It's just a real shame that he will be remembered for videos on female Sonic characters, logos, technology instead of the progress he is making on his modern content. I can imagine what he has to live with trying to make content, especially when he comes around to making new videos in 2021. Hopefully a new generation comes along and sees how far Guptill89 has come since his days of controversy on YouTube. With his 15th anniversary coming up in July of 2021, I'm sure he will talk about the past and express his regrets. For anyone that does go to Guptill89's channel, please do not harass him about his past content. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen.